This is Alabama Politics with Steve Flowers, an in-depth interview with Alabama's top political newsmakers. Now, from the studios of Troy University, here is Steve Flowers.
I'm Steve Flowers, and welcome to Alabama Politics. Folks, we're very fortunate tonight to have as our guests two of the outstanding citizens of the state of Alabama, Miss Annette Funderburk, who is president of the Ingram State College here in Montgomery, and Dr. David Walters, who is associate vice chancellor of the community college system in the state. And we're going to talk about a very important issue today. David heads adult education for the community college systems around the state. And Annette, being president of the college here in Montgomery, is very, very active, has founded and done a lot with prison education, which is a very, very important function of the community college system that very few folks know about. We're going to talk about that some, so we thank y'all for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
David, start with you if you would. This is not your first time on the show. You oversee all adult education, don't you, in the state? Is that's your title? You'd be the head of adult education?
Yeah, Vice Chancellor of Adult Education, and then also work with correctional education as well. So, you know, we had Commissioner Ham on the show last time and talked about everything going on within the Department of Corrections, but we felt like it was a great opportunity for us to kind of showcase Ingram State Community College, which is really targeted specifically to serve the prison population in the state of Alabama. And President Funderburk and her staff is doing a phenomenal job in doing that.
David, back to the one thing, let's rehash what John Ham, the commissioner, said. Y'all have already had your first class they need some correction officers. And y'all started a thing at Jeff State and at Reed State.
We did, and we completed both of those classes. So out of 23 students total, we had 22 that now have went to the next level of becoming a correctional officer, which is going to be really a pathway into really good sustainable wages. Plus it's an opportunity to really make sure that those correctional officers understand the importance of education, because it takes the correctional officers to bring the inmates to President Funderburk and her staff to serve at Ingram.
Well, let's move on to the prettier portion of the show. Dave is not an unhandsome man, but he doesn't hold a candle to Annette Funderburk.
Thank you.
Who's like a beauty queen up here. One of the prettiest people I've had on the show. I did have Caroline Dobson on last week, and she's a pretty young lady too.
Yes.
You know, Annette, I bet you get confused all the time when people say President Funderburk, because Hanley Funderburk was your father-in-law, wasn't he?
He was my father-in-law, and certainly sometimes they do mention that to me, and what a great mentor he was to us, me and Ken, and a great father to Ken. But a true joy to have him as my father-in-law. Now,
Miss Funderburk still living in a retirement home, isn't she?
She is.
Here in Montgomery?
Yeah, she's in Birmingham.
Birmingham, okay. Well, how many children did Hanley Funderburk and she have?
2.
Ken, and he has a sister?
A sister named Debbie.
Is she here?
She's in Birmingham as well.
Now, Annette, how long have you been with the community college system?
I've been at Ingram State since 2017, permanent president in 2018, but I've been with the community college system since 2008.
You did government affairs for a while.
I did.
For 10 years?
No, sir, for 4 years.
4 years. That's where I'd seen you at the Capitol, though.
Absolutely, right, yeah. A great passion I have for government, master's in public administration, and a true desire to be a public servant and help and implement policy.
Did you go to undergraduate school in the state of Alabama?
I did. I went to the University of Montevallo.
Same as Jack Hawkins.
I did, right, and then went to graduate school at Troy University.
Oh, good. So you're right at home then.
I am. I feel right at home.
I was visiting with Jack Hawkins in his office after he just announced he was going to retire after 35 years. He's since changed his mind, but we were sitting there talking. I said, Jack, there's that group in that book I gave you called Goats and Governors. I've got a chapter called the Montevallo Mafia.
Well, maybe you can add me to the mafia.
Well, these are all men, and they were his age, like him and Todd Strange.
Right.
And about 6 of them went to Montevallo the same
Right.
time when it just become co-ed.
That's
I
correct.
said, Jack, we've always thought when you went there because it was a girls' school, you could have date every time you wanted to date. He said, that's exactly what it. He admitted it.
Yeah, yeah.
He admitted it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it was still 80% female.
That's right, that it is, but it's such a good school, such a great opportunity for me, coming from a small rural county high school to join the University of Montevallo, and it's great education, a wonderful opportunity, and I'll always be a Falcon.
Well, Annette, you know you've got a great opportunity, and you're doing a great job at Ingham State, and the community college system. Not because we shouldn't be saying this on the university channel, but 97% of your graduates, not just Ingham State graduates, but the entire system, are Alabama kids, and most of them are helping find them get them a job.
That's right.
But what you're doing is a very good thing. Recidivism has got to be a problem.
It is, and we certainly want to lower that as a tax-paying base in Alabama, and the legislature supports Ingham State with that in mind to lower recidivism.
Well, do you get extra funds for this for Ingham State for the general fund, or all your funds still come through education?
All
trust fund?
of Ingham State's funds come through education, through prison education line item.
Well, begin with, if you would, and tell our viewers when it started and how you got involved, and take your time, and because this is a great, people need to know this about what you're doing out there at Ingham State, and how long you started doing this program and everything like that.
Okay, well, thank you for this opportunity. And Ingham was developed and organized by the Alabama legislature
Who
in
is J.F. Ingham?
He was a deputy assistant superintendent for the state Department of Education under the governor. Governor Wallace in 1965.
And that named the school
in that
after
area, that time frame.
But now, what was the first mission of Ingham State? What did it have a regular mission? Was it?
It was to serve the incarcerated population.
That was started that way?
It was started that way in 1965.
Well,
and what a great idea!
Was it first in Wetumpka though?
No,
it was
sir.
Always out there.
Always in Elmore County.
Elmore County.
Wetumpka has always been there for the women of Tutwiler, but it started in Elmore County
so
near
it was
Draper
started for that
Prison.
reason, near Draper in '65. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was trying to get a picture of the whole thing.
Right.
So in '65, J.F. Ingham was started to help prisoners get education, so they'd be able to get a job when they got out.
Yes, sir. We've been doing it that long.
That was the mission.
That was the mission. It still is the mission, and it has not changed.
Well, let me ask this, Annette, was that the other states, have they patterned, they have a school that just practically specializes in that?
No, sir. As much as we know, we're the only state that is developed like this, where there's a community college that solely serves the incarcerated population. Now, other departments of corrections serve, but they are not a school organized in this way. So they have to partner with four-year institutions or partner with community colleges or private institutions to teach education within the realm of their corrections.
So let's go back to the beginning. In '65, it was started with that mission. To go from there, then the history of it and what you're doing now and everything.
Well, it has always been a technical school based on solely getting jobs for those that are about to be released. 94% of those that are incarcerated today will be released at some point in the future. So what Alabama legislature has always wanted was to make sure that they offer them an opportunity of hope, an opportunity of work skills, high wage, high demand, technical programming. So we do not offer associate's degrees like our sister community colleges do. All of the community colleges offer short and long-term certificates as well as associate's degrees. At Ingham, we only offer short and long-term certificates.
Let me ask you this question. Before you get your classmates / inmates, they're screened so that you don't get the hardened murderer who ain't gonna get out. You don't get those. I mean,
No,
you can't
sir.
get those.
No, sir. We do not serve those that have life or life without the
There's
possibility,
no possibility
of parole.
there's no reason to do that.
No, sir. Although we do serve anyone that's willing and wanting to, a desire to get their GED,
Okay.
we will serve any of any of the population inside the correctional facilities that want their GED. But for career and technical programming, we have 17 different programs that are for credit classes where they can get a short and long-term certificate, and 5 non-credit programs where they can, like a CDL. But our 4 credit classes are welding, carpentry, cabinet making, plumbing, HVAC, electrical, industrial maintenance. Some of those, most of those programs, they can get a job immediately. Some of them, like our barbering and cosmetology programs, there are needed hours serving with a cosmetologist alongside of them upon release. And we've worked very hard with the cosmetology board to make sure that they and are registered, and make sure that they have those hours upon release.
Now, let me get a picture of where they are. You have both male and female.
We do.
And so, but they don't stay in that same prison, do they? I mean, they're all over the state. How do you get everybody to class, and how does that work?
We are all over the state.
That's
so
what I was
Ingram serves 17 of the correctional facilities and 5 pardons and parole day reporting centers across the state of Alabama. So we partner with 2 state agencies, the Department of Corrections and the Alabama Bureau of Pardons and Parole, to offer this type of program across the state of Alabama. As far north as Huntsville, Limestone Correctional Facility and Decatur Work Release, and as far south as Mobile Work Release and Fountain Correctional Facility in Atmore, and everything in between. And we're embedded inside the correctional facility itself.
I see. Okay.
Right.
Each of the 17 have their own place where Ingram State has a.
Correct.
So
Right.
you have your employees, your faculty lives at Fountain
That's
or
correct.
Limestone.
That's correct.
That makes sense.
That's
They don't drive from Draper to the prison.
No, nor do all of them coming into one place.
They may never come here.
They may never come here. So our main campus is in Deatsville, which is
Yeah.
just north of Montgomery. But we serve all of those correctional facilities across the state.
Well, how do you oversee those employees? Who do they account to? They account to you.
Yes, sir.
But they're up there in Limestone.
They are. We have wonderful site directors that are located across the state of Alabama, and those site directors oversee more than one facility. For example, the site director at Limestone also oversees the Decatur Work Release as well as the Huntsville Day Reporting Center. So we divide it out like that, and then we have 3 deans that oversee all of our employees, and then I'm the one person that everybody gets to look at for anything that goes positively or also negatively.
Do you do a lot of Zoom calls?
We do a lot of Zoom calls, but I also put a lot of miles on vehicles.
Do you?
Yes, sir.
You visit all of them every year, don't you?
All the time, yes, sir.
All
The
the
one
time.
thing that I learned from Dr. Funderburk from Auburn University was if you're going to manage, you have to manage on site. And he
That's
would
right.
always
He told you
He
that.
told me that, and he always would say, you got to be there. You got to look at them in the eye, and he would tell me that you've got to be there to make sure that you're understanding and listening to not only your faculty, which is a very important part of what you're doing, but also your students.
Well, how many employees do you have?
We have 183 today, and we've really grown. Just 2 years ago, it was the Chancellor's vision to consolidate correctional education. Prior to that, 5 community colleges across the state worked with correctional education. And now we have changed that under the Chancellor Baker's leadership, and every correctional facility now is under Ingram.
So they all account to 183. Is there one field that has grown more? Tell me what year you became president.
I was appointed as interim president in 2017, and then a permanent president in 2018.
Well, you weren't working in that program before. You worked in another thing in the community college system.
I was director of external affairs under Chancellor Baker in the community college system office.
What year did he become chancellor?
2017.
So he's been chancellor 7 years now, 6, 7 years. I thought it'd been a while. But, so you went out there at that time after doing external affairs for the system.
I did. I did. I was fortunate to work when Chancellor Baker came as an outside lobbyist and got to work with him in that manner. And then moving right is when he was chief of staff. I had a great opportunity to work directly under him there.
When Fall was governor.
I'm sorry?
When Fall.
No, sir. Chief of staff at the community college system under Chancellor Dr. Mark Heinrich.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
What about now, Annette? What about you had a lot to learn over the prison thing, didn't you? When you got there.
Yes, sir. I was
because you hadn't specialized that in anything.
No, sir.
You knew generally what they did, but not specifically.
Absolutely. So my previous employment prior to joining the community college system, I was a county administrator. So in 2 separate counties, Talladega, deputy county administrator in Tallapoosa. I was a county administrator, so I had a lot of experience in budgets. I had a bachelor's degree in business administration, a master's in public administration, and then a certificate in governmental accounting. So I feel very confident in budgeting and managing the fiscal aspect of it. And then Chancellor Baker told me that if you can be a county administrator, you can certainly do this. Hire somebody that can really oversee the faculty, which we have a great Dean of Instruction, Dr. Butch Young, that oversees all of our faculty, does a great job. And our programmatic review, we are accredited. So we are accredited by the Council on Occupational Education, and any class that we have for credit classes transfer to any of our other community colleges that are offering long-term certificate technical programs.
Well, let me ask you this. Of the 17 facilities, which one has the most people that y'all are working with? How many of your employees is Fountain? What's the biggest one?
The biggest one is our Draper Staten campus.
On the main campus?
Well, our main campus is next to Frank Lee Work Release Center.
Okay.
But the Draper Staten campus is our largest campus, and that is next to the Staten Correctional Facility, where the Elmore mega prison is being constructed.
It was designed to be there for that reason.
At this time. We will have a facility, a building in there as well, in the bigger prison once it's completed. But that's our biggest campus, but probably Limestone is our next largest
because
campus.
They have the most inmates, or because of the biggest population in the states up there?
Well, because it has the most students that we serve, right. And then third would be our Bibb Correctional Facility in Bibb County.
Why is Bibb third, you think? Why is that reason?
Well, it has...
proximity to Birmingham and Tuscaloosa?
No, sir. What they have done is very interesting, and we're very proud of having a vocational village there. So the warden and the commissioners of the Department of Corrections has been proactive and have allowed us to have a living and learning community at Bibb Correctional Facility. So all of our students live in the same dorm together. So all of them go to class, and then they, during the day, and then they all return at night. And they've allowed us to have a library in their dorm. They've also allowed us to have other types of incentives that keeps the behavior positive, and everything is much more positive for that set of students during that time. So it's a productive environment around them instead of a negative environment, which it would be in general population.
Let me ask you this question. At what point, if you have 183, how many inmates are you working with now? Do you have a number on that?
Yes, sir. We serve about 3,500 students a year.
With 183 employees?
With 183 employees.
Well, they got a pretty big workload.
Yes, sir, they do. We could use more money
Really?
to hire more students.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to hire more
You got
instructors.
3,500, but now they don't spend their whole day in that, do they?
They do.
They spend their entire, they don't know, they get some exercise and all. They have like a physical education.
Now, they do that on the Department of Corrections time.
Okay.
So when they come to us, it's about around 8 or 8:30 each morning, and then they stay with us until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
To the facility there.
So they leave from our facility and go to their to go eat lunch, and then they come back. except in the areas where it's adjacent to the facilities, and then we serve them lunch.
Do you keep the males and females always segregated? They're not always in the same classes, are they?
No, sir. They're in different facilities.
Okay,
So
yeah.
for the women, we serve at Tutwiler, and then we also serve Montgomery Women's Work Release, and we serve Birmingham Work Release. The other facilities around the state are the men's
So
facilities.
most of the females lay in cosmetology.
No, sir.
What is it?
No, sir. Our highest population for the women is our welding program.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. Well, you know, the community college system is going to be geared towards the need for health care.
Yes, sir.
Will your school head that way too? You're not going to have any.
No, sir.
You can't give an LPN or
we
anything.
do not do anything
Healthcare.
like that.
Okay.
That our students cannot be placed in positions upon release.
Okay.
So we have a wonderful job placement team that are 6 people that serve and live all across the state of Alabama that serve their particular areas. We have one that's in Huntsville, one that's in Thomasville, Montgomery, Birmingham, and so we're making sure that they are serving the areas and placing our graduates upon release. And last year, we've partnered with 605 different business and industry across the state of Alabama that's welcoming a second chance as an employer. But we've placed over 230 people in jobs just this year alone, making sure that they're placed once upon their release.
Is there a certain term limit that a prisoner has to not have a certain number of years on their term that they can apply and get into the program? I mean, it's like you got a 10-year sentence. You say we can't take you until you've served 5 years, or
we can serve them at any point in their journey, in their time while they've been incarcerated. What we want to make them, number one, is a better incarcerated individual. That way, upon release, they're better to re-enter society so that they do not recidivate. We want to make sure that their journey is better, right? We want to think about their re-entry when they enter the corrections system or the probationary system. So what we're thinking about is that education. So we're wanting to give them an assessment, an educational assessment upon their intake, and then make sure that they get that education opportunity. Many of them only take that opportunity closer to release, and we prioritize those that are closer to release. But if we can enroll them in adult basic education immediately to get them a GED, that's absolutely what we want to do, because we want them working inside the correctional facility. You as taxpayer base want them working, so that's less that the Department of Corrections has to spend on workers. So we have a prison to workforce pipeline that we focus on every day, and that is certainly engaging our students and enrolling our students. You have to first do that. You have to listen to them and listen to what their needs are. We want to make sure if they're not doing their hands-on work, they're never going to learn. And yes, our average age may be 40 for our students, but they're going to be released. And we want them to be released with high wage, high demand jobs.
Let me ask you this question. Do the inmates initiate getting into your program, or do y'all identify someone who might be a good candidate and ask them to enroll?
We have great partners with the Department of Corrections system, and they identify students. We do.
They will identify someone.
They will identify
There's someone who's
students.
got a small crime they've committed. They shouldn't be in here long. They don't need to be just sitting around not.
That's
learning
correct.
something.
They identify. We also recruit inside each one of the correctional facilities. So in the middle of October, for our spring semester, our student services division will go to each correctional facility one day and recruit to students that are interested in attending some of our classes and to get the long-term certificate programs. And we meet with them, we show them videos of opportunities, classes that they can take. Not every program is offered at every correctional facility. For example, at BIB, we have 4 programs. at the Draper Staten campus, we have 7 programs. So it just depends on what, where you are, how much space we have, and what's offered at each place. So we recruit to them. We also recruit on their tablets. So each dorm has a set of tablets that the students have, or those that are just as involved, have an opportunity to read books, have some types of long distance video contact with their families through paid service through those tablets. We also advertise on those tablets, just like our sister colleges do on television. So we try to make sure that they understand their opportunities, what they can do in welding. We have people placed every single day in industrial maintenance, in welding, in jobs all over the state of Alabama. Our students are ready for the workforce.
Well, let me ask you this pertinent, maybe final question. We only got 2 minutes left. Your students, once they've gone through the Ingram/Draper program and they've gotten a degree or certificate in welding, what % of your inmates stay and don't come back?
Well,
have you kept a record of that, as opposed to one who did not take advantage of the system?
Correct. What we say is we really lower recidivism rate about 12%. So the average is about 28 to 30%, right? And we lower it about 12% to 18, 19% that are coming back with some form of education. That may be adult education, that may be a non-credit CDL program, it may be a forklift certificate, it may be the industrial maintenance program where we're putting them right into jobs. There are many different types of classes that we offer to them to make sure that they're getting a great opportunity of hope to make sure that they go to work so that they do not return to prison.
Now, what this tells me, and we only got 45 seconds, is a lot of crime must be interrelated to drugs.
It certainly is.
Because they can't, even though they've got a job waiting, the drug temptation is in their system. That's what I'm learning.
It is.
If you're going by that.
And we partner with the Department of Corrections. They do a lot of those social types of classes and learning inside the Department of Corrections.
Well, I hate to tell you all this, our time's up. It goes by in a hurry, doesn't it?
It does.
We want to thank y'all for doing this. This has probably been real education for a lot of my viewers. Folks, our guest tonight has been David Walters, of course, with the Vice Chancellor for Adult Education, but also Annette Funderburk, who is president of Ingram State, but she's not just at Draper in Elmore County. She's all over the state, oversees all the prison education in the state, and we thank you for what you do, and thank you for taking time to be with us.
Thank you.
And thank you, viewers, for watching. Hope you tune again next week for Alabama Politics. Thank you. He goes by in a hurry, doesn't he?
Great job.
This has been Alabama Politics with Steve Flowers, a production of Troy University Television. Opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Troy University, its administration, faculty, staff, or students.